Director of Social Media at Bernard & Company. For more than 20 years, Wendy has focused her career on business development, marketing, and branding. Wendy's background includes writing business and marketing plans, building corporate identities, and brand development. She's worked in both the online and offline arenas, including print advertising, strategic planning, public relations, customer research, brand establishment, and creative services. In her career, she keeps an eye on the evolution of marketing and the influence of the internet. Please welcome Wendy McCormick.
So again, Bernard & Company, we are a strictly industrial advertising agency. We only live in this world. And my accounts as an account manager is actually really strictly in this world. I deal with a bunch of foundries, and Magma is one of my clients. So I kind of have a cold, so if I kind of lose it, I'm just going to have Christoph finish my presentation since he knows it so well. So anyway, so that's a little bit about us. So I'm going to talk today about really across the board everything that you can be doing to get your name out there and to get some exposure. I'm going to first talk about what you can do through associations and publications. So the first part's going to probably cost you some money. Then we're going to talk about what you can do in-house using like social media and your own database and your own website and stuff like that. So just real briefly first I want to talk about just marketing in general in the year 2012 and now almost 13 and what marketing really has to do with sales. I see the evolution of sales so different now, and a lot of people will say, well, selling is so hard now because of the economy and blah, blah, blah. I think a lot of things that's making sales more difficult now is actually the internet and social media and all that stuff. If you think about back in the day when we had the traveling salesmen who went door to door talking about the new products that were out on the market because there were no televisions and there were no department stores for you to go out and find that for yourself. Once TV and department stores came out, you see how sales, going door to door sales disappeared. I hear a lot nowadays of people cold call. I can't cold call. No one's answering their phone. No one's listening. No one wants to talk. No one wants to be sold to anymore. So, and why is that? Because they're busy. They're busy doing their own job, and they want to find things out for themselves. So, think about how we buy. And I know now with the internet how I buy. If I want to get something, I'm going to research it myself. I'm going to go online. And I'm going to research, if I want to get a new car, what are the new cars out there? What are the new options? What are the new things that are going on? I'm going to make a decision for myself that I'm going to pick up the phone, talk to a sales guy and say, I'm ready to buy. A lot of times I don't want to be upsold. I don't want to hear what the options are. I've already made my decision. So this is making the job of sales a lot more difficult because people are already doing their own research. Part of the problem with that is people are doing research on the internet, where we know that there's not a lot of, it's hard to tell what's truth and what's not. And this is, again, gold for us as an agency, and we'll talk about that too. There's a lot of misconceptions out there, which helps us as an agency support our clients to go out there and say, this is what they're saying about your product, this is what they're saying about your product in general, let's discount it, let's write an ad, let's write some kind of story to tell the truth about what people are misconceiving about you. So Google, let's talk about Google real quick too. How does Google work? It's not a live search of the internet when you're searching something. What it is actually searching a snapshot of the internet. And you want to be part of that snapshot, or no one will ever find you. The whole adage of, if you build it, we will come, doesn't work when it comes to websites. You want people to find you. So when you Google search something, think about how you work when you Google search something. What do you look at once you search something? What do you pick when you get your page up there? Top 5. I don't pick the ones in the color code up at the top because they pay to be there. Yeah. I pick the top 5. But now what do I do in the top 5? Who do I pick of those top 5?
Someone you recognize.
Perfect. Somebody you recognize. I'm not going to pick the top one just because they're the top one. I'm going to look for somebody I recognize. So you need to be recognizable. And that's what we're going to talk about. How do you become recognizable? Think about sales. I don't want to be sold to anymore. I'd rather buy from a friend. So how do I become a friend to somebody I've never met before? How do I put my truth out there? How do I put all the information I can out there so that people who are looking for me can find me? So that's what we're going to talk about. So first we're going to talk about through publications. Through publications, we have everything from digital ads to email blasts we can do. webinars, there's forums out there, newsletters and e-blasts, and then video outlets. So we'll talk about all these things. With a digital ad, we all go on different websites all the time and we see the flashing ads all over the place. The nice thing about that is you do get brand recognition. You can click through to your website or any information that you want to pass along to somebody. You can direct your audience. You can pick, I want to advertise, if my foundry is really heavy in automotive, I want to pick an automotive book to go to there, be an advertiser through them. So you can really focus on who you're talking to in that world by picking the right publication to advertise through. Analytics, this is so huge to me. This is kind of the favorite part of my job, is numbers. I'm not a math person. I have to use my fingers still to add, but I love the numbers. If I'm going to put an ad in a trade magazine, how do I know anyone's reading it? So, we've got some magic ways now to see how people are reading an actual trade magazine. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But with the digital ads that you put in, on these websites through the trade magazines or through the trade publications or who you're trying to advertise through, most of the time you'll get numbers, you'll get analytics, you'll get to know how many people clicked through, how many people viewed your ad, and how many people went from your ad to your website. And that's huge. That's a lot of information right there. Was it worth spending my money there? Then go into your web analytics. And I say that in meetings sometimes and people look at me like, I don't know what they're talking about. What is a web analytic? What is that? We have that? What web analytics is, for anyone who is wondering, is your website tells you how many people came there that day, what page they came to, how long they stayed on those pages. It tells you a lot of information. It tells you where they came from. Did they come from Google? Did they come direct from AFS's site? It will tell you all that information. It's telling you a lot. So you've got a lot of gold going on in the background there. And you can see, is it coming from this website? Did I just spend that money in the right place? And if you didn't, you stop and you go spend it somewhere else. Sometimes in digital ads, you'll get leads. Sometimes. The thing to be careful about with digital ads is how many ads are in this rotation. So if there's, like 100 hits to this website, unique hits to your website every day, but I want one of 60 ads, then I'm going to come up once in the whole time people look. So ask those kinds of questions. How many, are in this rotation? How many unique visits do you get to your website? Ask those kinds of questions. Sometimes too, depending on who you go through, like something like a ThomasNet, you'll get leads, but you'll also get, you can kind of be more specific on what time your ads are running, because with them, they charge for impressions. So how many times your ad pops up, you're charged for. So if I do most of my business on the West Coast, I certainly don't want my ads showing up at 6 in the morning Eastern time. I want my ads showing up more relevant to when my customers are going to be looking at that particular website. So those are the kind of questions to ask, and those are the kind of things to look for, and the kind of information you will get back. Publication email blast. So we do this a lot. And we do this a lot with our foundries, and we do it a lot hand in hand with AFS. So if your foundry does a lot of work with automotive, we can write an email blast. So it's write an HTML code, and the blast will consist of information that you just want the automotive world to know. Now, who do you want to talk to? Do you want to talk to the CEO? Then we write the blast that way. Do you want to talk to the designer? Then we write the blast that way. Do you want to talk to the purchasing agents? We write the blast that way. Then we go to the database of either AFS or an automotive publication or whoever we're buying the list from, and we say, we want to know how many people in the automotive world who do multiple parts, and I want to just talk to the purchasing agent. How many people do you have? And they'll give us the number of people, and they'll let us know, the price is usually like $400 per 1,000. And we're only blasting this message to that group of people. So we're not wasting money. We're talking exactly to who we want to talk to. A lot of times, again, I'll get the list of which companies the blast went out to, and I'll get the analytics. I'll know that it went out to 1,100 people, 447 of them opened the blast, and then 390 of them clicked through to your website, or they clicked over to the video you put in there, or they clicked over to the white paper that you put in there. Put some kind of fresh, relevant content in there so that you do get click-throughs. Then we'll go to the web analytics, and we'll look at On the day the blast went out, how many times was your website hit, and were they also hit by these companies from that company? And we can kind of match those up, and if you get RFQs, you can kind of see how it all comes full circle. So the good thing again about the email blast is the message is focused. We want to put click-throughs in there. You want activity in there. You really, really, really do want to have a call to action. So you want to offer something, things like iPads, and that's all fun and games, but people are kind of over that. They don't want to click through on that. They don't want to put their name in for something like that because you're just trying to capture a name. What do you have to offer? You know, what kind of white paper? What kind of new technology? What kind of really cool video do you want to show? You know, those kinds of things that you're going to get someone to click. That's what you want to do, and you want to have more than one thing on there and not just your website. So again, we get analytics from that too, which again really tells us a lot. Was it worth the money? Do we want to do this again? Do we want to do this to now aerospace? Do we want to move around and see what this is doing for us? Publication webinars, same kind of thing. You have a specific topic that you want to talk about to a targeted audience. Well, again, take that information, write this webinar, and take that specific message to the specific audience. A lot of times the publications will help you attain that. And these are questions to ask too, because some publications will just take your money and let you send out the invitations and you figure out who's going to get there and you run the webinar even if there's only 4 people in attendance. Others are really good about helping you get people there, making sure that you get your money's worth. And most of the time with webinars, you will get the leads. You will know exactly who is sitting in that room listening to your webinar. You will definitely, again, get analytics. How many people came and left after 3 minutes? How many people came and stayed the whole time? Very important information. Did you bore them and you don't want to run that webinar again? Or were they there for the long haul and were they interested in what you had to say? Publication forums. There are a lot of forums out there, like engineering forum, and we've got LinkedIn too, which is sort of has forums in there. What a forum is, what's different between a forum and a blog, is a forum is a conversation. So does anyone belong to groups on LinkedIn, different groups on LinkedIn, and they have those discussions? That's a forum. Someone throws a question out there and someone else, they participate in a conversation. What I love about the forums is I'll go in there and I'll see what conversations are going on about my clients. And again, if they're saying, well, they can't do this, and I know they can, that's something to take back to the client and say, look, they're saying that your product doesn't do this. So clearly, we're missing something in the way we're advertising, or we're missing something in the way that the website communicates this, or we need to write an article or something to get that misconception cleared up. Some people will go right into the forum and finish the conversation and say, hey, yes, we do. Give me a call. Let me help you with that. Or another thing too with the forums with problems, you'll get somebody in a specific industry and say, hey, we're having a really hard time getting this engine block to not crack or whatever, and you'll see the discussions going on and you can jump in there and help them out. Or again, you can see what misconceptions are going on. So there's these forums are in a lot of the publications, and I don't remember if AFS has one, but I know there's engineering forums. And again, go onto your LinkedIn. AFS has a thing on LinkedIn that has discussions and things like that. Just telling you a lot of stuff, giving you a lot of information. Conversations are going on about you, your products, your company, and stuff. You need to be part of them. Publication, newsletters, and e-blasts. So e-blasts are a little bit different than the email blast I was talking about earlier. An email blast is when one of our clients will go through AFS and send a sponsored letter. This is specifically from this client out to everybody else. And an e-blast is when the publications have their own topics. So here's our automotive e-blast. Here's our aerospace e-blast. Here's our construction e-blast. And you can jump in and say, I would like an ad on that e-blast, or I would like this article in this e-blast. So they're a little bit different. Same thing with their newsletters. They have specific newsletters that you can be a part of, sponsor, pay to get on. Again, this is all pay kinds of things, but these are all things that are offered that you can definitely get. Again, analytics and click-throughs and all that kind of stuff. Publication video outlets. This is becoming way more and more popular. If you think about it, we all live in an instant gratification ADD society. So if someone can sit and tell me something and I don't have to read it myself, I'll be way happier. So videos are becoming more and more popular. I know AFS is starting their MCTV early in 2013, where you can have videos up there about your foundry in action, of particular, something being made. So the videos are huge, and we use them a lot. And again, with the publication hosting them, you can say, I want this geared towards automotive. I want this on your page that focuses on this. I want this telling this story. You'll get analytics, and again, you're talking to your target audience, and you don't have to go find them. They've already done all that for you. Now we're going to talk about social media and your world and what you can do on the inside without using any kind of publications or associations and stuff like that. So this is kind of on the inside. These are all the kind of things we'll talk about. First, again, we're going to talk a little bit about forums. With your website, again, you want to be found in Google. So the way to be found in Google is it needs to like you. And what does that mean for Google to like you? Is you have to be active. You have to have some kind of activity going on in your website to keep it alive, to what Google calls create spiders. So if my website is simply a template, like a business card or a brochure sitting up on the internet, and there's no life going on, Google doesn't like you. If you're not click through here to go to my YouTube page, click through here to go to the association that I'm a part of, or click here to go look at this conference I'm going to be at, you're not creating spiders. Google doesn't like you. You won't be found. Or you'll be on page 347 of the Google search. So you need to make your website active. So a lot of people are going to what's called a community-based website, where you become an information source. People come to your website to gain knowledge and information about your world. And when we think about social media, again, we don't want to just talk about me, me, me. If you think about Nike, Nike doesn't tweet or talk about their shoes and their clothes. They tweet and they talk about and they blog about and they put on their website about fitness and health and healthy living, because they want to talk about what their customers are interested in. They don't just sit there and brag about themselves. So, community-based website, what exactly does that mean? You want to become an information source. You want to be the place that people go to have the conversations or gather information. And again, that'll give it more life and you'll be found in Google more. So, information networking is really where we want to be in this world. So what works best? With Twitter, Twitter is truly information networking. If I have something to say, or I found a really cool article that I know that people in my world will be interested in, you stick it up on your Twitter and you tweet it out there. The important thing and the greatest revolution with Twitter is the use of the hashtags. What's a hashtag? It's a little pound sign where we have a client who's paying another service a lot of money to do their social media. So I looked at their thing the other day. They have 4 followers on Twitter. They've tweeted 29 times, and none of their tweets have hashtags, which means they're talking to 4 people. Now, if I say the same thing, same tweet, and I hashtag MFG, which is manufacturing, or a hashtag engineering, or a hashtag the word design, it means you might not be following me, but you're following this thread that the engineers follow. You follow this thread that designers follow. Now, all those people saw that information that you put out there. So you're reaching people that you don't even realize that you're reaching, and you're putting information out there, and they now just learned about you, and they might go back to your website and see who you are, or they might follow you and see what other information that you want to put out there. So again, this is like a step in reaching out and becoming friends with people you've never met before. So if I'm on Twitter and I'm tweeting about, say our foundry makes mostly stuff for automotive. I'm going to read articles about the change in, people buying cars and things like that. Those are the kinds of things I'm going to tweet. I'm going to tweet out information that has to do with my world. And I want to put it out there for more than those 4 people who are following me to see. So I'll hashtag automotive. I'll hashtag those kinds of things so everyone, the big mass group of people following automotive, will see that. And that's where you start gaining a reputation of being an information source. YouTube is the same kind of thing. You think about the videos. What do I want to show? I want to show this super new piece of equipment we just got. I want to show this great new piece of technology. I want to show how my foundry is above and beyond, the guy next door. I want to show how we can do this quicker, faster, and less expensive than the guy next door. How do you do that? You got to show. You got to show people that you do that. You can do that through YouTube, and we'll show you how. I'll show you a little bit in a minute just how we use videos, and it's fun and it's amazing. Again, with your blogs. In this world, blogs are a little, I don't know. I think that it's, you want to put fresh, relevant content out there on a consistent basis. So if someone's writing your blog, they need to be writing, and it needs to be putting up new content. How much fresh new content do you have? If you're doing press releases and you've got a lot of information to show and you want to put it on your blog and then link it back through your website, great. If not, then don't do it. Don't bite off more than you can chew, first of all, and don't start something that you're not going to finish and that you're not going to do successfully. Again, in this world, blogs are a little, they're not really taking off as they are in other industrial. In the foundry world, no, they're not so much. So, Facebook is social networking. Okay, there's a difference between information networking and social networking. Bless you. So Facebook doesn't work in this world either. There's a lot of people who do have their Facebook pages and all the people who like them and stuff, but in that instance, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, really, what we want to do is bring in new business. So with kind of your blog or with Facebook, you're really talking to people who already know you exist. So if you want to talk about, this super new, cool new machine you have, great. That's relevant there. But again, if you think about the manpower and who's going to be doing this, not really a good place to spend your time. LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is a great place to go. If you join the groups that have to do with your world, join the groups that have to do with foundries and, aerospace or automotive, wherever you belong, join those groups. You can join, I believe, 50 groups without pay, joining the pay version of LinkedIn. And pay attention to the conversations that are going on. What are the questions people are asking? Where are people getting stuck? What new technology are people asking for? Go there and see what people are talking about. And participate or not, but at least go there and see what people are talking about. Newsletters, with a lot of, in the industrial world, newsletters are huge and they work, again, as long as they're consistent and as long as you're putting out fresh, relevant content. Again, your newsletter is going out to your database, so you're talking to people who already know you exist, so you want to be telling them something new and exciting that you have to offer. Or, customer success stories or things like that. Webinars, again, you can certainly do your own webinars, but you're coming to your database again. So if you want to write your own webinar and send it out to your database, great. But I see more success with webinars when you go through a publication and they really hone in on the group of people that you want to be talking to. Virtual press conferences, we've done this a lot with our customers. We'll come in, and this I don't know how much you could do this on your own, but we've done this where we'll go into a new customer who wants to branch out into new markets, and we'll get the editors who they want to be talking to into a press conference, whether it be virtual and they just listen to a webinar online or they're sitting in the offices. And this kind of introduces them to a whole new world of people who didn't really realize they existed yet. So that's another thing that I guess you can do in-house, but I think you really need maybe even agency's help or talking to the actual publications to know the editors and who's going to come and sit in your audience. So the thing that we love, that I love the most, is this QR codes. So again, you want to give your company more life and personality. I have an ad, I'm spending all this money putting an ad in a magazine, and I have no idea if anyone even saw that ad, if they read that ad, if they cared about that ad, and I only got to tell them this, and I really have a way bigger story to tell. So we use QR codes for this all the time. We have, and I have three real quick examples. The nice thing with the QR codes is, again, analytics. So we'll put a QR code on this ad in this publication, and then we'll put a different one on this one. And then we watch the spikes. We watch how many people actually click through. How many people click the QR code and watch the video? I like to connect video to them. Some people put a QR code in there and it connects them right back to their website. Why? Why would you waste that? You've got this website already on your ad. Connect it to something that, again, gives your business life and personality. Connect it to, you've got this ad that's, after I read it, if I read it, is gone. But now, some of the QR codes that we do are 3 minutes long. Some of them describe a whole new machine that our company, one of our clients built. And it talks specifically on each part. Here's what the machine's doing now. Here's what it's doing here. Here's what it's doing here. Or we've got customer testimonials. Here's our customer. I know we know we're great. We just said in this ad how great we are. But look, here is a testimonial from a whole bunch of our customers telling you how great we are. So again, you're getting more life and personality. You're capturing the audience a little bit longer, and you get to talk about how, someone else can talk about how awesome you are. So here's some of the ways that we use QR codes. The other way too, again, we use them in ads, but you can use them on your brochure. If you have a brochure that shows a picture of this, now stick a video on there. And let's see it actually in action. Or at a trade show. You can't bring stuff with you, so, the big machinery with you, so stick a QR code there, and scan it, and let's watch your foundry in action. So one of the ways is a product demo. So this is Hunter. They're one of our clients, and they designed a new machine. So I went through, and videotaped the machine at every single transition, every single thing the machine did, and we spliced it all together and then put on there what it's doing. This is just a quick 15 minutes. This is a quick 15 minutes. It's 15 seconds. The actual video is about 3 or 4 minutes. So when I put this in an ad, and I just captured someone for 3 or 4 minutes, and again, I can go now to the YouTube analytics, and I can see, did people actually click through? Did they stay for the whole 4 minutes? And I know that, where are people ADD, they don't care, when they stopped after 30 seconds, how many people stayed all the way through? And they did. So again, it was fresh, relevant content. So again, that's just 15 seconds that I got to stick on a piece of paper that went into a magazine for thousands of dollars, and I got people to see my machine for 3.5 or 4 minutes in action, start to finish, and all the awesome things that my machine can do for you. Another thing that we do is a lot of times now we find that more and more people can't travel. I want to see what your foundry looks like. I can't come out and look at it. I don't know if I'm going to do business with you. So we do what we call virtual tours. And here's a quick one. And there's 2 ways you can do a virtual tour. One is like this one, which is just kind of like all different snapshots of different parts of the facility. This is Banner Medical, it's not a foundry. Or you can literally walk through it like you are getting a tour and walk and splice it together like that. So again, real quick, it just kind of gives people a taste of who you are, what you have to offer, when all they're looking at is a quick little ad, or they walk away from a trade show with a brochure. They go home with so much more. Because with the QR codes, if you don't have a smartphone or a tablet or something to scan it, you always provide the URL, obviously, so you can go type in the URL and see what it really is. The third way we use QR codes is through customer testimonials. And this is one where we took for Magma, where they had a whole bunch of their, we had a whole bunch of their testimonials, we spliced them all up, and we created one specifically to die casters. We created them specifically to the different areas that they reach. So, here it is. I'm going to turn this one up because we actually have a celebrity in the room here who's probably going to appreciate that I did this to him. I can't hear it. So basically what we did was we took all the different testimonials that we had for Magma, and we spliced a whole bunch of them together maybe about 2 or 3 minutes worth, maybe even not even. With the testimonials, we might have only done about 1.5 minutes. and you add it to the bottom of the ad. And you just say, look what our customers have to say about us. Look what, look at how awesome we really are. So those are the different ways that we can use QR codes. So that in a nutshell is like everything that we can do digital, media, website, and all that fun stuff wise. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, see, I'm so awesome. So we're here the rest of the time, and I know like it's a lot of stuff, and again, in this world, I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at like, oh, that doesn't work for us, or that's not done in this world, but it really is, and it's becoming more and more used in, especially the foundry world and the industrial world. Yes?
One question. In the companies you work with, how big a company do you have to reach before somebody typically hires a full-time person to keep up with their social media and all that kind of stuff?
How big of a company do you have to be before you hire?
Because I imagine, small companies not going to hire a full-time person to do it, but where is that line?
Right, and that's a really great question because you don't really need a full-time person to be doing it. If you've got a marketing person or you have, a salesperson, they can be doing it too. If you're just monitoring the forums and see what people are saying about you, one of the engineers can do something like that. How big of a company? It just depends on how big of a dent you want to make. We have some who do have departments that do it, others that just have one person, others who it's just a little part of their job. So, it just depends on how much you want to jump in and do it.
Are you starting to see the trend of sales and marketing being split to digital media managers and away from the sales and marketing group?
Yeah, and I have to tell you, I've always hated sales and marketing being the same job. It's not. It's not. Marketing's job is to bring people in and then walk away. And sales' job is to really be the experts on what they're selling and know that product inside and out and close the deal. So the whole sales and marketing concept to me always makes me cringe. So, but the trend and I also don't like when people say, well, we're going to stay away from print and go right into digital. I don't think that's a smart move either. I mean, we really, as an agency, like to keep it hand in hand. Again, like I said, with the use of QR codes, I have one of the videos that I took was actually for Magma, and it was actually Steve Sikorsky just having a chat with one of the guys at Premier Aluminum, and I had my flip camera, and I just picked it up and videoed their conversation, and they were talking about the pour that was going on the monitor. And that video in itself, with the things that we put it in, and a lot of times we haven't even put it in anything, it has been hit over 1,200 times. Maybe even more by now. I haven't looked at the analytics. I know Steve goes and clicks on it a lot. Yeah, he just keeps that up. He thinks that Christoph will give him a raise. But the good is true. It really is neat to see the analytics and see the numbers. And we can go back and see, okay, here's the QR code that I've put in all these different ads, and watch the spikes. Watch them go up every time that ad appeared. And you can see that, again, so doing this print ad is really worthwhile because people are actually looking at the ad. And I know that because they scanned the QR code. I know that because they went to this video and they watched it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of feedback on what a lot of people are washing their hands of with print media. One of the things that my boss says, and I really think that it's true, that with the internet, you go to the internet when you already know what you want to buy. You already know what you're looking for, and that's where you kind of like search it a little bit more. But you want to go through your trade magazines when you want to look and see what your competition is doing. You want to see what else is out there. Or if you're someone looking to buy something, I want to see what the latest and greatest is. I want to flip through these and see what else is out there. The whole point of marketing is to get the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And I see ads for cars all the time, but I'm not in the market for a car all the time. When I'm in the market for the car, that's when I start paying attention to those ads. So you want to make sure that your name is in front of the right person with the right message at the right time. And the way you do that is consistency, first of all, as far as timing of putting things out there, but also doing it in different ways. If you're just putting one ad in this same book and that's all you're doing for the rest of your life, I don't know how well that's going to pay off. But if you try all different avenues and try different ways, you'll be more successful, I find. Yes?
Please don't be insulted by this question, but let's say I come to you and I say, make something happen for our organization. How much am I going to pay you for this? Or how much money do I need to make this happen?
Well, me and says, make something happen for my organization, how much are you going to pay me to make that happen? What we do is we sit down with you, and every one of our clients is so different. We sit down and say, what message do you want out there? Who do you want to be talking to? And what do you want to tell them? And then we'll design something. We have some clients who are like, I absolutely don't ever, ever, ever want to work in print. Okay? We have some who are like, you tell me, what's the great way, what is a good way to mix it all together? So it really is a matter of sitting down together and coming up with, what do I want this to look like? And sitting together often, because okay, that's not working, let's try this. Or this is working, let's do more of this. Or how can we, amplify this, or how can we make this work better? So it's just a constant communication of, and again, we work differently with everyone. We have some, clients who are on a retainer, and that covers this, part, and then we have some who are per project. And it's so diverse in however you want it to work and how you want. We have some who say, I got $10,000 for the whole year. Do something. We have $10,000 for my hands are tied. But it depends. It really depends on what you want to do and how much money you have to spend, and we make something work around that. So.
All right, Wendy will be here for the next couple of days, and I want to cut off the questions, but I do got to keep things moving. So, Wendy, thank you very much.